What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to a brand new video here today for round 11 of Apex Online Racing, here today for the German Grand Prix at Hockenheim. Coming into this, I was very confident of a good result. I'd been practicing a lot more than what I even normally would. I was a lot more focused on this than what I was in the Elite Series race at Hungary, which was about 2 hours before this. If you haven't seen that video, I recommend you go check that out right now. But yeah, coming into this, I was fairly confident, as I said, that we can get another good result. So hopefully we can make that happen. A podium, maybe another win, but let's go see what we can do. And yeah, hopefully we can have a good one. So let's get into qualifying. Alright, so here we are in the garage for qualifying, and look at that rain. Oh, it's been a while since we've had this. Now this really had me worried at the point in time when this race was actually happening, because all of my practice had been in the dry. I had done no wet running, and I wasn't really sure what to do in terms of a setup, because it is set to rain at the end of a race, at the end of the race as well, and struggling to put the power down. As you can see right there, we nearly spin out. So I decided to go basically for a full dry setup, just to compromise a little bit with the aero, and just you know, kind of hope for the best and see what we can do. First lap coming across the line puts us provisionally P1, but it was only ourselves and Jay Banks who was set at time, so that's not really representable. We go for another lap straight afterwards. We're purple in the first two sectors. We're down to P5 at the moment, as I think that was Jay Banks and Spilly got out of the way just before the stadium. Coming around to finish our lap. It's been a pretty good one. Swaggy currently sits on provisional pole. We should jump the Alfa Romeo driver by a fairly big margin as well. Coming around the final corner, up to the line. What's it going to be? 121.7. Well and truly over a second faster than our previous lap, so major improvement on the second run. So maybe that's a thing with the intermediate tyres, I'm not sure, but we decided to cool down, save a bit of ERS, and decided to go again, just to pass some time basically. Looks like we're going to improve again. Spilly jumps up into P2 out of Darren 11. We go faster again on a 121.5, so we're looking fairly comfortably in the rain actually, which is a bit different. Coming on now, we're coming back in the pits to get a brand new set of tyres. Darren 11 has jumped up into P2. Our teammate Stuart McKenzie jumped up into P3 as well. So that's good news for the Williams team. So hopefully we can keep this little bit of momentum going that we've gotten in the last couple of races. But yeah, the rain is set to die down a little bit right at the end of the session, so I decided to wait till about 5 minutes remaining and go out. And what I wanted to do was actually want to do 2 out laps and leave myself enough time. If I screwed up my first attempt at a hot lap, then I'd have enough fuel and I'd have enough time to go for it for a second time. Contrast takes provisional pole position off us, which was very surprising to see the Ferrari driver on provisional pole, but anyway, coming around to start our flying lap, so let's go. Down into turn 1, down into 6th gear. So easy to cut that corner, track extend on entry and exit. We got through there very nicely though. We're already up on the delta. Hard on the brakes, down into turn 2, short shift up through the gears. Short shift up to 4th, now up to 5th. Purple in sector 1, and we're up on contrast as well, so looking good so far through sector 1. Down this long run through this back straight now, overtake, max fuel mixture, hard on the brakes, just at the 100 metre board, maybe a little bit after, get it stopped, make the apex, something I was struggling to do on my other qualifying laps, but we nailed it that time, and we're gaining time more and more we go through this lap, so this is looking good for the moment. Down in front of the Mercedes grandstand now, we get a good run through here. Short shift up into 5th gear now, clip that curb a little bit.
1 minute to go.
A little bit of oversteer almost, so back into the cars, a little bit slidey through there. 6/10 up now as we come into the stadium section. This is looking good for maybe 1 minute 20. Coming into the stadium section now, short shift back up to 4th. On the gas now, short shift up to 5th. This is going to be a really good lap. We almost throw it away right there going in the gravel. And this is going to be what looks like a lap in the 1 minute 20s across the line. And it is a 1:20.7. And I can confirm that was enough to keep us pole position for the German Grand Prix by half a second over the field. Darren 11 jumps eye contrast as well, just at the end. But man, that is one of the best qualifying sessions I've ever put in, I think. Half a second clear of the field, and we've put ourselves in a real good spot for the race, so we're looking good. We've done the first part of the job, so now it's a case of let's go finish it off. So let's go to the grid for the German Grand Prix. Alright, here we are on the grid of the German Grand Prix, round 11 of Apex Online Racing. Now, I know the strategy probably seems pretty bog standard to you guys, mediums to hards, but because of the rain that is set here at the end of the race, I was thinking about trying something different, and as you can see, I'm thinking about trying hards to mediums. Now, if I was stuck in the mid-pack or at the back, I probably wouldn't go for this strategy, but because I had track position over everybody, I did want to try something a little bit different, and I thought, you know, it's risk versus reward, and you know, I kind of am tired of doing the same old basic strategy as well, so I thought, you know what, let's risk it for the chocolate biscuit. Hopefully this pays off and we can try and win this race. Obviously with the rain at the end of the race, that will spice things up. We do seem to be the quickest in the rain around here, so I'm hoping that as long as we can maintain some kind of track position in this first stint, we should be able to blast through everybody after the pit stops on a fresh set of medium tyres, and yeah, hopefully just be able to keep our nose clean, stay out of any trouble, and maybe come away with a victory. But I was really, the nerves were creeping up as we were coming around the start of this race, I'm not going to lie. Being on the hard tyres with basically everybody around us on the medium, so was very kind of nerve-wracking, obviously knowing that people would probably drive right around me at the start. I'd probably get swamped, so I just wanted to keep my nose clean, try and get a real good start if we can, but we'll see what we can do. Waiting for the last couple of cars to reform now. This is going to be a really interesting first couple of laps in this German Grand Prix to see how we go, but let's get into it. 5 red lights for the German Grand Prix, and away we go. Looks like a pretty decent start. Darren 11 has gone nowhere from P2. Contrast has got a real good start from P3. Looking up our inside into turn 1, we maintain the lead. Coming down into turn 2, Spilly's got himself up into P3. Contrast looking for a move up the inside down into turn 2. We just maintain the lead. But now we're going to be, we're just going to be a sitting duck here. Contrast, Spilly, they're all going to have slipstream on us. We're going to be sitting duck down into the hairpin. I thought about defending, but I didn't think it was worth it. It's only lap 1. Contrast and Spilly both going down the inside. I tried to brake late, but they both get by. Spilly now looks like he's going to take the lead of the race. Swaggy right behind us in the Alfa Romeo as well. And Spilly does move into the lead from P4 on the grid. Contrast taps the back of Spilly a little bit. Swaggy now on our right hand side. That could have been really messy with Contrast in the racing point. As now we touch with the Alfa Romeo a little bit there. I kind of, you could argue the point I might have swerved on him, but you know, I was the car in front and I needed to come back on track, but you know, no harm done there. But anyway, what a eventful opening lap of the race this has been. Contrast runs a little bit wide in the penultimate corner, but we're not close enough to make anything happen. But coming across the line, Spilly started P4 and leads the opening lap of this race. Contrast started third in P2, we've gone backwards a little bit, not a real big surprise. Getting on to lap 2 down into the hairpin, everybody goes really slow in the braking zone. Swaggy goes up here inside, tries to force us off a little bit there. I don't know what it is with the Alfa Romeo, but this does seem to be a common trait. He really doesn't give two rats if you're alongside, but at that point in time I just thought, nope, I'm going to give you a taste of your own medicine. So we squeeze him out a little bit there, and job done, maintaining P3. contrast gets a little bit wild there just up ahead. You saw the Ferrari was all out of shape. Heading on to lap 3, we've got DRS on the racing point. Send it up the inside into the hairpin. A little lock up on the right front tyre, but we get the move done. And I think after chatting to him post-race and in the party as well, I think Spilly actually got the tap from Swaggy there, because I expected him to go for the over and under, but I think he actually got tapped from the Alfa Romeo, and that kind of prevented him from doing that. But cutting on to lap 5, Swaggy with the fastest lap of the race, 15.3, so the Alfa Romeo was some solid pace this race, which is a little bit different, but anyway. Cutting on to the end of lap 5, the yellow flag's behind us. Spilly is around in the penultimate corner, and I can confirm it was contact with the Alfa Romeo driver of Swaggy that is in the stewards as we speak. And well, let's just say from looking at the footage, it really does look like Swaggy has just swiped him, so it's pretty ridiculous really. But anyway, cutting back onto our point of view, we're making a move on Contrast now, trying to go around the outside in the hairpin. We broke really late, and where the hell is Contrast going? He's completely missed his braking point, goes off the circuit, and that is us back up into P1, back into the lead of this German Grand Prix. And that was really gifted to us, I guess you could say, but right place, right time, we got the move done, and that is into the lead. Fastest lap of the race now on a 15.1, and we're really looking good now at the moment. Gap is about 1 second to the Ferrari driver, and I can confirm him and Swaggy started battling a little bit, which allowed us to break away. Darren and Pete also started to join in on that battle, and we've just been able to break away from everybody, so we're looking good for the moment as Darren has left again. That's 2 races in a row. I think Darren has left the session, probably due to connection problems, so a bit unfortunate, but team radio.
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Right, so the rain is coming. Probably going to hit maybe in the late 20s, maybe late 25, 26. Darren has left again. He was able to rejoin, and literally about 10 seconds later, he left again. So, a bit unfortunate for the Mercedes driver. He really needs to sort out that internet connection if he's going to keep racing. Because it's impossible to race if that's going to happen every race. But Gaming Wafer spun out in the stadium section there. So he goes a lap down in the Red Bull, a bit unfortunate, but we've been able to streak away. Swaggy, Contrast and Pete all going at it, battling away for P2, allowed us to get out of the DRS, settle down into a bit of a rhythm, and we've just been able to break away, stick to a delta, kind of in the mid-15s, and yeah, we've just been able to pull away, cutting on to lap 17. Our teammate Stuart McKenzie in the pits, following Contrast in, I believe, so going to be interesting to see where he ends up in this race. Team radio.
Expect to see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Alright, so still 10 to 15 minutes from some rain, which kind of had me worried at the point in time, not going to lie, considering that's what we got told about 6 laps ago. But cutting on to the next lap now, on to lap 18. I was planning to go till about lap 20, but in the end I decided no, I didn't want to risk potentially being undercut or have someone end up in my DRS, and I just wanted to play it safe. I was banking on the rain coming probably by about lap 27, 28, kind of, with about 5-6 to go for this strategy to really work the way I wanted it to. So hopefully we're going to come out still in the lead, and we do. We re-emerge on the track, still in P1, Plebs and Aaron P2 and P3. Swaggy has left the session. I think he retired on lap 17 or lap 18. But just seems to be a theme with the Alfa Romeo driver, so I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, we re-emerge in the lead, and with a comfortable margin of about 5-6 seconds to the guys behind. And speaking of which, Pete Crichton now makes his way up into P3. So he's managed to undercut everybody. I think he was the first one to actually come in for a set of the hard tyres, so he's managed to undercut Contrast and everybody else that he was fighting. So provisionally up into P2 for the Mercedes driver. We come across the line, fastest lap of the race, 1:13.6. Alright, so we're slowly eking out that margin to Pete behind us, which is exactly what you'd expect another team radio.
Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Alright, so he's not really giving us any useful information at all, Jeff, so let's try again.
Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Alright, so he's not interested in helping us out. He doesn't give two rats about what we want, but we'll keep going and come for another team radio.
Our gap behind is 12.6 seconds. They're on old hards. Their tyres are 9 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:15.7. They have a time penalty of 3.0.
Alright, so we've got 12 seconds over the Mercedes driver behind. He's got a 3-second hanging over his head as well. We've only got one warning, so we're all good for the moment, but coming on to lap 26, bits of rain starting to fall around the German Grand Prix circuit, and now the rain has finally arrived. It's been lightly spitting for a couple of laps now, just in certain spots around the circuit, but now the rain is here, and it's here good and proper. You can see it falling. So this is kind of an interesting point in the race. I was 50-50 on whether to come in for inters this lap or not. I really didn't know what to do. I decided to leave it one more lap because I hadn't got the strategy change from the engineer, and as soon as I did that, look what happened.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
That could not have come at a worse time. Bloody oath. Alright, so now we've got to do a full lap of this German Grand Prix circuit, basically on a track that's only going to get wetter and wetter, and we're on old medium tyres. I can confirm that Jay Banks and everyone else behind has followed suit and gone in for inters. Pete Crichton has stayed out with us, so the two leaders are doing an extra lap. Now this could prove to be very costly, and there's your cue to come in. DRS has been disabled, and normally when that's been disabled, you know it's time to come in for inters. So this is real risky stuff right now. There is no grip, really struggling to get the car stopped, to get it to turn, so I'm just trying to be really cautious, but trying to get back to the pits as quickly as I can, but just trying to be cautious again, as I said, at the same time, because it's so easy to just throw it off the road. As you can see, oversteer, a little bit of understeer as well. Just the car is not nice at the moment, just struggling to keep it on the black stuff. Going away for that's what, 2-3 laps down for the Red Bull now, but we make it back to the pits now. We haven't spun out, we haven't hit anything, we haven't got any damage. We've made it back successfully. We're going to come in for a set of intermediate tyres now. You can see Pete Crichton there in the stadium section, and right there, yellow flags, as you can see, and it's because he actually spun out there on those old hard tyres. Well, it was, you could class it as a half spin, kind of, but yeah, so he's going to lose a bucket load of time, being that he was so far behind us. But for us, we re-emerge back in the lead, and I think J Banks should actually take P2, which is quite interesting considering he is a reserve, and he does. So J Banks back up into P2, and Contrast now up into P3. I believe that releases our teammate Stuart McKenzie up into P4 as well, so we're looking good for potentially maybe a double podium for Williams if our teammate can get up behind the Ferrari and try and make a move. But for us, it's fairly straightforward now, just bringing this thing home. We've got a sizable gap over J Banks and Contrast, so looking good for the moment. And yeah, it's just a case of bringing this thing home, making no mistakes, avoiding those penalties and whatnot. That was probably nearly our second warning of the Grand Prix there. Somehow we avoided it, but running a little bit wide through the penultimate corner there. Easy enough to do, but getting on to the final lap of the Grand Prix, and what a hectic race this has been, not going to lie. I was very, very nervous trying this different strategy call. I thought it was going to backfire, but we've made it work. We were definitely helped by everybody else battling once we got back to the front, in Swaggy and Contrast and Pete and Darren while he was in the race. But we played our cards right. We definitely took a risk, because this is not something I normally do. I normally just go for the straightforward bog standard strategy, as you guys would know. But today I thought, you know what, let's spice things up. Let's try something a bit different, and it's risk versus reward, this stuff, but no, speak English. We've taken a risk, and in a few corners and probably 20 seconds time, it looks like we're gonna get the reward. That phrase did not come out the way I wanted it to, so don't hurt me. But anyway, coming around the final couple of corners through the stadium section, this has been a dominant race from us. Got the moves done when we needed to, maintain track position, and all in all, this has just been a great race from us. Coming across the line, clean sweep here in Germany. Another win, get in there. Alright, so there we go, guys. That has been today's video, round 11 from Apex Online Racing here at the German Grand Prix. An intense race, not going to lie, particularly at the start, but we were able to maintain some pretty decent track position. We got back to the lead when we needed to, was able to get a gap when everyone else started to battle, and just controlled the race from there. So really happy with this performance. But that's it from me today, guys. If you enjoyed, remember to leave a like, subscribe, stay tuned for plenty more. Until the next video, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.